Oh, good evening, all. How are you doing? Now, first things first. Yes, I am aware that my microphone sounds worse than it should. I'm having a day. My microphone stopped working, so I'm using my headset, which I think is okay. Um, but but I do have two options. So we're going to do a little bit of 1A, 1B testing. So what I've been talking so far is the webcam, headset microphone. Um, do I have the peripheral touch of death? I think I might actually. I'm going to very quickly swap over to my webcam microphone, which I'm pretty sure is worse. But I'm going to talk on that for 30 seconds, and then you lot tell me which one that you want me to go for. Nice. All right. Cool. We'll just go with this one because apparently the webcam on the microphone doesn't work. That makes it nice and easy. I see you, Ed. You rat bastard. Sounds better now. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Is it the mick or a sore throat? Ha! I'm mostly better. I'm mostly better. I've got a little bit of a cough, but not like I'm not feeling unwell. Ah, yes, very good, very good. The one where we can hear you might be a little bit better. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Uh, sweet, 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 sweet. How are you all doing on this fine, fine Friday? Um, yeah, it's probably going to be a lower viewership one because there's a Squarebase video that's just come out. So I recorded a video earlier about the thing that I am most excited about, which is, and I forget the name of it. Hold on a second. Where are we going? Veteran sellswords. In fact, what if I just very quickly, you know what? If it's going to be leaked soon, because this video will probably just go up. I'll put it up tomorrow morning or something like that. I had uploaded it, but I had to re-record an additional intro to go over it. So let me just go with do. Which one's my? There we are. Boom. Now, apologies for it being small on the screen. The person who I got this version of the leak from, one of the reasons that I haven't done a full video yet is the leak that I got. I was asked not to show on screen, so I've typed out a load of stuff. Look at this. Haha. Oh, you could pause the video. Ooh. I don't worry about it. All of that stuff's not super exciting. It's good, and there's a full video that'll be coming tomorrow morning. But veteran sellswords look really exciting, so I've recorded a video for those. I had uploaded it. I've deleted the upload because I had to put an additional disclaimer at front, just saying, hey, by the way, this was recorded before the leaks went up, so that's why there's nothing on screen. But that's okay. That's okay. You heard the Slayers of Pants? Yeah, they're pretty fans. Only need 20% core, which is kind of cool. You know, it's not too unexciting. It's a pretty fun way to do things. Of course, a terrible time to have 20% core is when core is the thing that matters in the game. So, don't love that in terms of the options available to them. They also have a classic special unit, which is not, um, it's literally in special, but it's just Slayers but upgraded. But then because Slayers have the option of being, is it Giant Slayers and Troll Slayers, whichever one's the upgraded one? The stat line of the special Slayer unit, which is in special, is basically exactly the same as that of the upgraded Slayers. It's 1 point less, and I think you might get an extra rule in there. But you could just take core Slayers with 2 attacks as well for 19 points instead of 18 points. So Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I'm a bit whelmed by Slayers. I need to go over that one with a fine tooth comb, although there's not a huge amount to go over. I don't believe there's any magic items unless what I've been sent is incomplete. I haven't seen the Tomb King stuff, but I've been told some stuff in there, so that's what I'm really excited about. Um, I placed an order last night for some Ushabti because I was like, we'll see, we'll see. Are they shooting things? They might be shooting things a couple of times. I also was told some stuff about the mounts, but I'm not actually certain that that made it into the final version of the book. So we will see. Is that Brothers of Grimnir? Yeah, that is Brothers of Grimnir. Have they been leaked? Is that something that's out there already? I'm on a backup mic. Yeah, I am. Has a flavor. So I'm having a day where everything's gone a little bit wrong. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure. So I'll just now that we've got a few more people here, I'm pretty sure the microphone actually still works. I'm pretty sure what doesn't work is the cable. So I've got another cable just ordered. In fact, so I said that before, and I went, wait, I haven't placed the order. I need to do it because I had it in my basket on Amazon. Then I forgot. I went through two steps on the placing the order, and I'm now clicking the button that says pay. Okay, tomorrow there will be a cable arriving for me. Good stuff. Would love to do a Flayer's Army if I could ever get hold of like 4 boxes of the AOW Dwarf Berserkers. AOW. I assume that's a sculpting business. AOW. It doesn't ring a bell. I'm not sure which one that is. Got leaked on Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Ah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I don't think there's anything super exciting about the Brothers of Grimnir. Tell you what though, I had a fun experience. So I'm at a tournament this weekend. I've got my Beastmen over here. Oh no! I've just scattered them. They're okay, but they were neatly arrayed, and now they're a little bit scuffed. So they're all based and painted and ready to go for my 500-point foray event tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to. I think foray should be fun. Apparently loads of people have taken magic missiles and blaster things, which they are super within their right to do. And if I come up against them, I think I just lose. So it'll be a fun experience. I'm looking forwards to playing them. But then next week I've got an event, so I ordered some more Beastman bits from Element Games. The link in the description if you are looking to order some Warhammer. Good discounts there, and if you use my link, I do get a 5% kickback on what is ordered, so I would appreciate that. However, DHL, who are shits, and said that they'd get back to me today. In fact, they said they'd get back to me today. I don't think they have. Let me just double check my emails. No, they have not got back to me. That's really bad. They said they'd get back to me in 24 hours. One working day. That is terrible. Anyway, they it was assigned for delivery, I believe. So they put the parcel was handed to, and it typed in the box guy. So good fucking start there. The photo was of somewhere I've never seen before, a dirty floor with boxes. In fact, I will, while we're talking, I'm going to try and pull that up in the background because it's so fucking egregious that I'm like, I don't understand how you think you can get away with this. Like, this is fucking disgraceful. Yeah, so the Beastman army that I was planning to do for next weekend may not actually be doable because I can't, like, I don't want to just order the same bits again and then have them like turn up or not turn up, yada yada. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe the element, not the element, maybe the what am I trying to say? Maybe the Tomb Kings bits will turn up, and I just play like a mortuary cult tournament game tournament list. I could probably do that. I should try and pick up some skeletons. If anyone has recommendations for non-Games Workshop skeletons, those ones are grim. And I want plastic models. I don't want resin for something that small. That would be pretty damn sad. I get too many emails. I'm trying to in the background find the DHL. There we go. Play your elves. Yeah, could do. Could play Dark Elves. I'm still trying to do the win 4 games, um, win 4 tournaments with 4 different armies, which I would like to use each event as an opportunity to win. So, like, playing the same army is a little bit rough. I could do Dark Elves, but I think winning with Dark Elves is going to be difficult to do. So that's, yeah. Play Wood Elves, the Superior Elves. I don't have Wood Elves in person, unfortunately. Email the DHL CEO and complain. You will have an office of people to deal with it. It sounds very Karen, but it ought to get the problem looked at. That does sound very Karen. Hold on. Let me just zoom in here on this picture. I don't want to show the full picture because if I do, you'll see my address on the box, and that feels not smart. So if I go, there we go. Look at this shit. Where's this? This is where DHL put my box. Like, there's a very muddy carpeted floor. There's twigs on the floor. There's random detritus. There's a box in the top left that's open. There's some really useful boxes. There's a mason jar down here. I don't know where this is. I've never seen this in my life. I've walked around my entire building block, and as far as I can tell, it's not here. So yeah, it looks like a trap house. It does look like a trap house. And that's in your loft where we all live. That's not true. There's no carpet in my loft. Fearing a demonstration at your door for the broken promises. No, I just don't want to get. I don't know. I don't want people knowing where I live. It feels like, you know, YouTuber 101. Don't give out personal details like that. But yeah, here we are. Here we are. You don't know how DHL continues to exist. To be fair, this is the first time I've had an issue with them. But this is a pretty goddamn egregious issue. Looks like a crack den. Yeah, it looks like a crack den. It's pretty wild. That's what I was getting in my box actually. That's the £90 order I put in from Element Games. The internet is a terrible place. You're wise to hide the info. Yeah, in fact, you know what? I'm just going to close that out now. I almost closed it and opened up the page, the DHL page, where you could see my personal information. That would have been real dumb. Like, oh, I'm not showing my details. Anyway, here we are, my details. So let's close that out and let's have a look at some lists. If I just go back to, I don't want to close that. I want to change window before I do anything else, just in case. There we go. Job's good. Oathmark do some skeletons. Ooh, you know what? I'll have a look at those. And someone said Wargames Atlantic as well. I I feel like Wargames Atlantic is not something I can get in the UK, and that might be completely bollocks. But it's just because it's referred to as an American company. So let's have a look here. What would the Wargames Atlantic ones be? Oh no, shit! I did look at these ones. So the skeletons come with like a mix of weaponry. I think it's like 8 spears, 8 shields. There's just like too much variety. I want to be able to build them all as the same thing if I'm getting them. So these Oathmark ones look pretty decent. They are a little bit Vampire County, but not super Vampire County. So I think if I just paint them correctly, or if I just give them bows, I think that'll be all right. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Zephyr says DPD are bad for me, though they were all bad. At my old address, I lived at number 21. The photo evidence from DPD was the open door with a bewildered old man at house 25, with the number clearly shown. Yeah, that sounds decent. Avatar of War, Beastman Skeletons are your fave. Ooh, that's interesting. Avatar of War, are they what's the word I'm looking for? Are they plastic or are they resin? Yeah, I don't want resin. Could be every. Yeah, every's terrible. It might be Stockholm syndrome, but I come around on the Games Workshop skeletons. Yeah, it's definitely Stockholm syndrome. Um, okay. Avatar of War / shop. Here we go. Plastic regiments. Let's have a look at this. Do they do skeletons? No. They only have very limited plastic. These all 4 inches are pretty nice. Kind of pricey for the amount you get for a non-Games Workshop model company. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, let's get to looking at some lists, I reckon. Mantic undead skeletons are plastic. They're quite VC coded. Yeah, I did have a look at those, and also the Tomb King ones, the dry as dust or whatever version of their Tomb King's list is called. They're like very heavily armored with crossbows, which is a shame because I quite like Mantic plastic. I've got a couple of bits and pieces like their dragon, but yeah, it's something I'm. Oh, there's a video on Paul Stanley's channel, Tomb King skeletons with alternatives. Oh, okay. I will have to say, I don't know who Paul Stanley is. Tomb Kings. I can have a look at that afterwards. Cool. All right, let's look at some lists. Who we got? Who we got? So, as always, there were a few too many lists submitted compared to the time that I have to do them. Apologies for that, but getting through as many as possible. I can see Zephyrus. So, I know that Zephyrus submitted a list, so we'll start with that. Zephyr says, I'm new to competitive list building, so open to any comments. Hoping to get a Royal Host list to my first event at some point next year, whether that be one with as many characters as above, or one with a king on dragon, which I've painted. Lovely. General ideas: King and Herald on regular chariots, with regular chariots. Prince with Tomb Guard and BSB level 1, Priest with the cohort. Priest and Horse goes up with the chariot bricks to provide a rise and hopefully Plague of Rust support. Honestly, I'm not against having two level 2s, basically stick behind the infantry bricks to do the stay more out of harm's way. That makes sense. Canopy is to dispel any vortex. I think vortex is probably not as much of an issue as you're expecting it to be. As you say, you had this issue before FAQ. I think you're not seeing vortexes in most lists, so we can probably drop the Canopy. Okay, so you've gone for an infantry cohort, which is 10 and 31. I'd probably go a bit bigger on this, but that's okay. Tomb Guard, Chariots, Tomb Scorpion, and then characters. So my immediate thought would be pick one of the other between the infantry cohort and the Tomb Guard. I think I'd double down on one of them. You've gone 500 ish, 550, 580 points, where you've gone into two units. If you just went 500 points on one unit, that unit's going to be a lot more effective. And then you can go with like the chariots or the other chariots as a backup option. So I think let's start off by taking out the Tomb Guard. As much as I like them, I think I'd rather say going up to say 20 Royal Host Warriors and then and we probably want to give this is it Mirage Banner that gives you reserve move? The names are all the same, and I forget. No, it's not. Although Mirage Banner is good in terms of not just being shot off the board. Vanguard reserve move. So I like having this if you're not playing a list with reserve move. It just feels very solid. So let's bulk this up to a good sized unit. Let's just go maximum, honestly. You've got the poison on there. We'll give them the musician as well. You don't ever want to tie with undead. You always just want to win if you can. It's only 5 points, something like that. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Oops. Desert Winds. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Old Boy Phil, your list is cool. I was thinking about doing something similar for this weekend. I'm not actually sure when the box released though, so it might have been yesterday or like tomorrow even. So maybe that wouldn't have been doable. Okay, so we've got the one unit here. Then we've got the skeleton chariots, which I do like. Icon of Wrath. This is the one where you turn. Yeah, this banner is broken. On like you overrun and you get to make a reform and then continue overrunning and just make contact. Very, very good. Again, let's go make sure we're putting musicians on our units. I personally feel strongly about musicians on undead. Icon of Rulership. I need to remind myself what this one does. You go from 3 to 6. Okay. Yeah. So more unit strength and your impact hits are AP2 and have magical attacks. That's pretty solid because you get the D3+1 on the Tomb Guard Chariot. Okay, I like that. I feel like we definitely want some sort of magic standard here. What are we looking for? Do we have... It does come with Thrift Stride. Yes, of course it does. Icon of the Sacred Eye is not bad, but you don't actually get that many attacks. It would be more be a defensive banner, and we're looking for more output here. Mirage Banner for -1 to be shot is not awful. I don't hate that in this meta. Hatred, enemy characters, and terrors. It's not going to do it for me. No, no. So maybe it's just Rampaging or Razor Standard. Honestly, Razor Standard would go pretty hard here. We're averaging 3 impact hits per. Assuming they all get into contact, that's 12 impact hits. So we're looking at 2 6s there. But then also we've got, let's see, 4, 16, and then another 8, 24. So we're looking at about 6 Rens. I think that feels pretty decent. I don't hate that at all. Maybe it is the Razor Standard. That feels like the baseline here. You'd put Rakaf on the Tomb Guard. That's the okay. That does make sense actually. Like doing it this way around, and then this one. Actually, no, that's a really good shout. Thank you, Hasflavor. Because here, this Tomb Guard unit, this unit has got you can put characters into it if you want to, but it's got more umph already. You've got halberds there. You've got the Icon of Rulership, which is expensive, but I don't hate it. The unit strength is quite nice, and this just gives more umph to this. And yes, you don't have quite as many attacks. In fact, you have the same number of attacks, slightly less impact hits, but you get the shooting attacks as well. Okay, I like that. I do like that. The Crow of Cleaving Blow. You like the Razor Stand on base chariots, so then you a lot of help with AP. That's another reason that it was a good idea to move it over. The Tomb Guard chariot can be core as well. Oh, yes, I think that's true, can't it? Let's just go, you know what, make this so much easier. I recently cleaned out my Warhammer folder and I organized it so I would have everything ready to go here. So if we look at the Royal Host, you can go 0 to 1 as a core. Yeah, okay, yeah, absolutely, we're doing that. Just having them core is obviously a huge upgrade there. So we're going 4 Tomb Guard chariots, full command. We're going Icon of Wrath, and then we're going to go Icon of Rulership, I think it was. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. And then the unit strength is really valuable because it's in core. 1,000 points in core for undead is a good feeling. I don't mind this Tomb Scorpion. I don't think it's doing all that much, but I don't mind it. Then we've got double wizard here. We can drop the canopy. I think in this meta, it's not necessary. It's nice, but I think I'd rather spend the points on other things. Then we've got Hieratic Jar, Power Scroll, and Elementalism. Hieratic Jar's the res twice, right? Yeah, I think that's probably worth doing. I think that is probably worth doing. Although you're only getting a flat plus 2 wounds, right? Let's just double check here. Arise. Why am I forgetting it? So chariots, it's just what level of wizardry, so it's 2. So you'd heal 4 wounds onto the chariots. Not awful. I don't hate it. It's not great, but it's okay. This herald is a BSB. Meteor Arcane, Spelliterax for the magic resist. That feels okay. You're coming with a regen. You could give it the ward save, but you could give the ward save from the Mortuary Priest. I think both are fine. And then we've got Tomb Prince Halberd Shield on foot, Warding Splint, Paymaster's Coin. Okay. So I think I want to play around with the characters. I think that's probably where we want to look at doing things. So we might come back to that second wizard, but we want points available. I think in this list, having the dragon, and you mentioned that you've got the dragon already, I think that's just strong in general. And you've gone for Paymaster's Coin and the Conqueror's Blade. Remind me what the Conqueror's Blade does. It's pretty solid. It does a decent amount of damage, but I think literally just all we're looking for here, the dragon can do a lot of the heavy lifting. You go for a great weapon. That puts you in a pretty decent spot with Armor of Ages and a Talisman of Protection. Have you used the Talisman already? No, you used the Warding Splint. So just going for the standard dragon here as your general is pretty strong. It does a couple of things. So it means that your general, I think we want this to be the to have a rise as well. Just being able to like pip an extra wound here and there is pretty solid. And your general being very hard to kill is valuable. Being able to heal itself is valuable. Great weapon, shield, and yeah, job's a good one there. Although with the Tomb King rules, I believe we're getting a flying Kemrian War Sphinx, so I do need to confirm that. That's just something that I haven't seen with my eyes, but I have been told. So this might be something that needs reconsidering. A flying Swift Stride War Sphinx. We'll see. We'll get to that one. Conqueror's Blade. Yeah, no, I do like it. I think it's fun, but I think also just this Tomb King is what you've got here is you've got three bully units. You've got the chariots. You've got the two units of chariots. You've got the Tomb King. You want to support both of these chariots as much as possible. Maybe I think honestly the Tomb Scorpion comes out just for points. Maybe we go back into it, or maybe we drop some points here. But I think just starting off like this is probably a solid place to go. This wizard on a horse needs something to support it. It cannot run around on its own. It'll just get shot to pieces. So I guess you need cavalry cohort. That makes me feel sick. The cavalry cohort doesn't have skirmish, does it? I bet it doesn't. Yeah, I don't like that. I do not like that. Okay, so we'll go with some horse archers. We'll just go 8 with a unit champion. And this is just a tax that we have to deal with if we're putting the mortuary priest nearby. Honestly, maybe it just like hovers around the infantry cohort, but I think it's hard to. You'd rather not have a cavalry cohort. Yeah, me too. Me too. Character can't join skirmish horses either. Is it heavy infantry? Is that what we're saying? Skeletal steed. Is this heavy cavalry? So there is. I believe there are 2 horses coming. So, or there's another option for horses. There's one that's light cav. There's one that's heavy cav. So you will be able to join it. So we'll just leave it as this. I believe the light cav one might be cheaper, but as of the rules that are coming out in about 20 minutes, or maybe even have been shown on stream already, you should be able to run this with the horse archers. But that is a very good point. Okay, so we now want support. In my opinion, we want support for these. I think Royal Heralds are solid, but do I like them more than Princes? Not massively, and this isn't a BSP. So let's just go Prince here. And then this is, do we want a Spellytrax, or let's pay 9 points more, and we might come back and change this. Double Obsidian Lodestone and Great Weapon. Given that you've got the Armor of Meteoricine anyway, yes, you're paying a little bit more for it, but you may as well make use of what is a pretty okay number of attacks. Strength 6 there. It's pretty decent. Now delete all this and add Cetra. Bars. That is a good point. Also, we don't need shield because you've got armor of Meteoricine, so we can just take that off. Cool. Okay, so now we are looking for, ideally, I'd love a print for each of these units, but I don't think there's any way we can fit that in. So what if we just go 1 print on a chariot who's got the warding splint? I do quite like the... Is it Crook and Flail of Radiance that's the good one? Extra attacks. It's fine. Like, all of these, I think, from memory, are, like, aggressively okay. I do like this, the Blade of Antrak. It's probably not worth taking, but I do like the idea of it. It's probably just Great Weapon, honestly. Warding Splint, Great Weapon. Yeah, that feels about right. And then we're 75 points over, at which point we just go shave a little bit here. I don't really want to drop, what's that, 15 models? What if we go down to 15 Royal Host Warriors, call it 50 here, and, oh, no, I'm bad at maths. 53. Okay. Hey, Lex Moon, hope you're doing well. Flailess Skulls is decent, yeah. Is it worth it on a 3 attack model? I think no. I think we want the Tomb Prince in the unit for the My Will Be Done, to go with whichever unit you think is more useful. Honestly, this is probably going to join the Tomb Guard chariots, realistically. And then the Skeleton chariots are more just on their own, in my expectation. But he can go in here, give them plus initiative, or give them plus movement or weapon skill, whatever is going to be more useful at the time. Probably not initiative, but yeah, this feels about right in my eyes. I think this like I've made a lot of choices here, and I think this probably needs playing around with. I really like the concept of Royal Host, but it's not something that I built a huge amount. However, this is probably the sort of direction I'd go. The other direction is to drop the cohort, although I like the cohort more, especially because they're pretty self-contained. You don't even need to put the BSB in with them. You could have this on a chariot anyway. There's playing around you can do. This on its own is just a solid unit that's hard to kill, and I maybe like to go even more models into it, but I think it's a pretty good. You know, there's an armor item that gives AOE my will be done. There is, but I think if we're realistic about a chariot, it's going to be hard to fit it. Get other units in its command range because I think is it 6 inches or is it in command range? It is. I've forgotten what it's called. It's not the death mask, is it? Talisman, Crown of Kings. Nope, it's one of these. Huh. Or mantle. There we go. My will be done within 6 inches. Yeah, so I think realistically we're not getting close enough for that to work out. Roll mantle. Yeah. 6 inches when you're in a unit of chariots. Yes, you can go on the end, but then you're very limited in where everything else can go. Might have to buy more archers. Yeah, I think something like this is an interesting way to go. I really want to play around with Royal Host. So because you know what, fuck it, we're just saying things. This is how I'm gonna keep you all here. I'm just gonna drop it in spoilers that I'm pretty sure of. I believe that other characters are going to be able to get on War Sphinxes. I'm interested in trying Tomb Princes on War Sphinxes, not the flying ones. They don't get to go on those unless things have changed. But having a Tomb Prince on a War Sphinx would be, in my opinion, an interesting build. It's 155 points, I think, something like that, for the War Sphinx, and it's 90 points for a Tomb Prince, I think. Yeah, so that's pretty cheap. You could get 3 of those and magic items pretty easily, and they're very very solid chariots that aren't chariots; they're actually behemoths. So yeah, maybe something to play around with. Something I'm interested in doing. Also, I want to join a BSB to the Shabti with actual ritual blades or something like that. All right, cool. Well, let's move on to something a bit beastmany, which is Conti has put in Beastman. Trying to make the Doom Ball work, this is an awesome model. Tried the Flying Steed of Shadows Death Star, didn't love it, so back to the drawing board. The idea is to do a no-send Beastman army around a Herdstone, including a Doom Ball maybe. So a no-send Beastman army is realistically probably Wild Herd, but within the context of what you've done here, we can have a look. So double spawn is good. Dragon Oak's a good. Herdstone is good. These are all just great start. Razor Gore, solid. Unit Gore, I'd like bigger here, and this I could probably go a bit smaller on. The notes also said that the wizards joined this unit that skirmishes. Um, this says Scourge of the Burdened, which I cannot remember what it does, to be honest. Oh, it's Call of the Wild. Yeah, the reserve move spell. Okay, yeah, so that does make sense. And then we've got the BSB here. So we are severely over budget. I feel like the Dragon Ogres might be the thing to go. And we sort of go from there. So we've got triple Bray Shaman and one Great Bray Shaman and a Doom Ball. So the level 4 Hagfree Fetish character with Pelt of Midnight. That's -1 to be shot, right? Yeah, it is. Then we've got Power Scroll Hagfree Fetish. This feels good. This is a pretty solid loadout. I'd like to see the Ruby Ring of Ruin in here because this list it's a no send list. So it's about getting spells off. Having another magic missile is good. I really like this, honestly, with Flying Carpet, but it's got some good matchups and bad matchups. So I think leaving it like this is fine. Then we've got let's have a look here. Chalice of Dark Rain, Bray Shaman, cool. Jagged Dagger, and then an on-foot elementalism caster. Okay, so I really like Chalice, but I really like Power Scrolls on my Demonology casters. Not my Demonology casters, my what do we call them casters? Viletide casters. Because if you come up against Magic Resist, you're kind of just screwed if you don't have at least one Power Scroll or the Jagged Dagger or the Jade Dagger, whatever it's called. Jagged Dagger. Um, Honestly, in this list, we might have to sack one of the characters. We might have to go 2 Brave Shamans and a Great Brave Shaman. But that's... Oh, I don't love that. The Doom Bull is full plate, bedazzling helm, slug skin. Realistically, we want slug skin on the Wargore, who also probably needs some level of defense. Like so. And then instead of going slug skin on this chappy chap, we'll go gnarled hide and get that extra armor save. And then we should give him a shield as well, just in case he needs it. In case he just needs to tank a dragon, because that would get him to a 2-up armor save. Oh no, you don't need it because the bedazzling helm, so no shield required. My apologies. He's still going to be -2 to hit because the Walker's going to be in the unit. We'll take off the Great Weapon and the shield, and we'll give him a Charm Shield, just a little bit more defense there. It's not a lot, but it's enough just to make a difference, in my opinion. And we're still 18 points too many, and we've dropped the Chalice. That is a bugger. So I would like the Chalice. Maybe... Oh, do we have to go... This is difficult. Do we just go Chalice here? And then we're really over on points. Even if we drop... This is hard to fit in. I think maybe the Ruby Ring of Ruin has to go. And then for that reason, we put the Chalice on this caster. Hey, Matthew. Good to see you. Thank you for supporting for so long. I appreciate that. Let me just turn on text-to-speech as well in the background while we're talking here. Would you rather have a Jade Sentinel or BSB, Fire Rain Battery, and Ring of Jet in a 2K no-bomb list? In a no-bomb list? Spicy. I think probably BSB, Fire Rain Battery, and Ring of Jet. I feel like the Ring of Jet is going to do as much as the Jade Sentinel, and then everything else on top of that is kind of just gravy. I don't necessarily think that the Fire Rain Battery is super good. I don't think it's bad, but I think it's just fine, you know? Yeah, interesting. Definitely the second one. As much as I like the Sentinel, I think it's a little harder to justify putting it into lists, unfortunately. Yeah, okay, so this list here, if we just go back to it, we do need to cut something. To be clear, I'd get rid of the Sentinel for that money. Yeah, absolutely. Got cannons but no bombs, leaning on dragons and Shigangan. That's fun. I like that. You'll be a lot more popular at your local gaming group than if you just bring the balloons. Or the bombs, anyway. Don't apologise. Thank you very much. Good to see you as well. Yeah. I think we probably... Like, I want to cut something. There's a reason that people have stopped going Doom Bull and they've started going Beast Lord. We have to drop something. His local gaming group gave most sporting to a 3 balloon 8 list. Oof. Oof, ow, ooey. I think, if we're being realistic, if we want the Doom Bull and we want the Chalice, we have to drop the Brave Shaman. We either drop a Brave Shaman or we drop Ruby Ring of Ruin and the Chalice. And I think I'm more willing to drop the Brave Shaman. Oh, we don't even have the Ruby Ring of Ruin in there. So yeah, it probably does just have to be one of the Brave Shamans. To be clear, that feels very bad. I want an extra Brave Shaman. But I think that's what we've got to do. This unit wants to be a little bit bigger. And then got a few points left as well. I'd be tempted as well to go with a unit of 10 Ungor with short bows. I think this is a really solid backline piece where you just go... Don't want to go too small with this unit. I guess we could go 16 The Ungor are there. I don't really want to drop a Razor Gore. I don't want to drop the Herdstone. Maybe we just don't have points for the Ungor. Or maybe, we could just go 25 here, 14 here, and then you've got the Ungor in the back line as an annoyance piece. Having ambushes that can come in and destroy a baggage train are really, really strong because you don't necessarily have to. You don't have to destroy it to get value out of them. You can sit there in the background and just be in reserve and make your opponent sit in the back, and you sit there and hope that you don't roll a 4+, because if you don't roll a 4+, then they just have to stay holding that. Pardon me, screening that baggage train. It says you're great at apologizing and not great at winning. There we go. There we go. Evening Goldfire, how you doing? We can do your list next. We've just done Beastman. Let's have a look at the list that you submitted. You had an interesting premise here that I did like. The idea is a big night bus with a BSB in it. The unit is -2 to be shot and reroll armor saves versus shooting. The Lord and Exalted Champion can both be in the unit against a Death Star or something that wants to charge the bus, or they can be on the sides for skirmish charging shenanigans. So you've gone for the Chalice. You did mention that you wanted to try the Chalice, but you didn't like the Wolves Wolves of the Sea version. So the Shaggoth Chalice, I think, is a really fun thing to put in. I don't love the second Dragon Ogre Shartak in this list. I wonder. Let's take this out for now. I'd rather keep drops low as possible. We're not in Wolves of the Sea, so you gotta roll for it. So if we go here, that puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops, which is pretty low. It's not as low. It's not lower than Tuned Cathay, but it's lower than most things. And as a very aggressive list, I like it being lower here. With that, I think we can go we might come back and tweak. If we're going for the single Shartak, which we have to take because we need one of them for the Shaggoth, I like going with the Great Weapon. Screw the extra Shartak. Hell yeah. Didn't need my Cathay list fixed. Some random 40k player won a GT with it, so it's a proven concept. True. Malik, I don't know if anyone has ever won LGT in multiple games before. Now, to be clear, the impressive one is when he won it in 40k. That's the one that was actually impressive. Not to say that not well done for winning the old world one, but it's more impressive that he managed to win the 40k one, which is significantly more competitive. One of the most competitive wargaming events in the world. But yeah, just copy his list. Cool. So what do we got here? So we've got the Chaos Lord, who is full plate shield, undivided, steed, ogre blade, 3 times favor of the gods, extra arm. Extra arm is expensive. I feel like I'd rather have Enchanting Aura. Do we have Enchanting Aura in this list? Diabolic Splendor, which is the -1 to be shot. Paymaster's Coin, Crown of Everlasting Conquest, 2 favor of the gods. Chaos Steed. Everlasting Conquest feels. I don't know about that. Icon of Darkness for -1 to be shot is good. Do I care about Paymaster's Coin? You start off with what? 4 attacks, right? On an Exalted Champion? 4 attacks, worse weapon skills, so you're more likely to be hitting on 3s or 4s. You're still strength 5, so strength 7. Yeah, maybe. I don't. For 25 points, I don't hate it. Both times it was with a big flying alpha strike list. That's a very good point. Malik's 40k list and Old World list both have some similarities. Lots of lots of flying units doing ridiculous amounts of shooting. Paymasters can go. I'm going to take it off for now, but I like it in concept. I think it maybe stays on. I'm going to put a talisman. Oh no, you've got it on the other one. Yeah, I feel like the Paymaster's Coin might go back on. I just like the extra juice there because Chaos like leaning on the characters and having more reliability there feels good. Meteoric Iron, Harry and Fluoro, Enchanting Aura. Okay, so we've got the Enchanting Aura here. Sure. And here we've got extra arm. Okay. So we're definitely getting the juice out of the Chaos Lord. Does the Chaos Lord kill a balloon in combat? I feel like the answer is no. Does it kill a dragon in combat? I feel like the answer is to that one kind of maybe sometimes. Okay. I feel like it's worth plumbing for the marks and Nurgle. Oh god, it's Heralds of Darkness! No! Oh, I forgot. Okay. Okay. We're gonna make the Chaos Lord Nurgle, and we're gonna suck it up that one of them or the horseman units has to be Nurgle. And we're gonna feel really sad about it, but it's worth doing because when this character goes into combat with a dragon, it actually can hold its own. The rerolling sixes to hit makes a really big difference there. Can make it normal Warriors of Chaos. This is my favorite. Heralds of Darkness is fun. It does give you a couple of bits and pieces. So here, it's marginally better with Heralds. Exactly. And what's the point in doing something if it's not marginally better? And the restriction makes it fun. So you got flails, light armor, javelin, shields, undivided. So I'm actually kind of wondering, do we just put in a cheap unit with Mark and Nurgle? I don't know what we'd put in that had Mark and Nurgle. Is it worth putting Chaos Knights in, Chosen Knights, for the punch? Probably not. Probably not. Okay. So I think we can go back to putting the Paymaster's Code on here. I just like that level of spice where you go, you know what? I've rolled an extra attack, got 5 attacks. Oh, they all hit you. Oh, you get crushed. Sometimes it's just going to make the difference. And because Chaos can get so much, like, so juiced with their upgrades, their favors of the gods, their gaze of the gods, I think there's some space there to play. Yeah, this one has to be Nurgle. That's how we're going to make this work. I think it's worth making this sacrifice for this unit to be better. Although it will be sad if it ever runs away. Or has to test to run away. And then we're 20 points shy. I think oops. There we go. I think I like this list. This feels solid. I think what I'd really want, realistically, is I think this needs to be a wizard. I think that's the adaptation we need to go for. So I think this has to go. As much as that's a shame, I think it has to be a wizard here with demonology. And I think that's how you actually get the juice out of that unit. And that way the Chaos Knights can kill stuff even if the Chaos Lord wants to leave. As much as it would be nice to have them running around solo, I think this is the way to do it. Where we go, I guess the answer is to go. Tomb of the Dark Gods is interesting. I don't really care about the Nurgle spell. We're not going to be casting the Tzeentch spell. I think it's probably just a case of we go for the Talisman. And then we go for Lore Familiar and a Power Scroll. That kind of does what we need to do. With a wizard, you can only have one lone skirmisher. Is that enough? That is the problem. That is the problem. Arguably, you could get the BSB out if you didn't need it in the unit, which I don't love, to be clear. I don't feel like that feels great. But, that is an option available to us. I think it needs play. I think people have moved away from this list. I think it struggles a little bit into the field. But if you have the Chaos Lord with the extra arm and demonology, how many? That puts you up to what, 7 attacks? Which would be hitting the balloon on 3s. So maybe you need the Paymaster's Coin in here. But then you lose everything else. Hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, because your strength's 7, it's T5. Each one is 2 wounds, so 10 before saves. I mean, it's the best chance you've got. If you roll well, the Chaos Lord might be able to kill a balloon, which shouldn't be necessarily the mark of reliability. But the problem is, I think this sort of list. In fact, let me just make sure that this is actually under points before we move on. The issue I have with this, I think it loses into the top things. Now, I think it can pants undead. I think this into vampire counts is pretty terrifying. I think it loses to Mortuary Cult. I don't know how it does to Grand Army, but I think it does okay into Grand Army. I think it loses to Cathay, and Brett's would give it the run around. Maybe it's just Tomb Kings that is, the big issue, because the Chaos Lord can jump out of the unit and do 360-degree counter charging. Hmm. Hmm. This is the version, or this is the tweaked version, but I think we might need to work on this one more. I think it's a proof of concept. This is pushing the limits of it. I don't know if I love the extra arm. Maybe I'd want to take the oh bugger. We haven't even got Enchanting Aura because I changed the character. Okay. So we lose the extra arm and put Enchanting Aura here. I like this more immediately. So I'm just going to export this one correctly. We edit it on Discord. But the reason I like this more is you can countercharge with the Chaos Lord into Brett's or whatever else, and you get to swing first, which is very very important. Cool. All right. Then, oh, thank you, by the way, to everyone who submitted. All of the lists I got to, the top 15, all had a JSON file from Old World Builder. I really appreciate that. With one exception. With one exception, Lewis. Lewis didn't even try. And fuck you, Lewis. How dare you? It's so rude. So, the exception was Lewis Edwards. Yeah, it's disgraceful, right? Um, so he submitted a Bretonian's Grand Army list. Uh, Here's the thing: I want to tear it apart, but he's going to the same event as me, so I could just purposefully train him wrong as a joke. Um, what do we think? Do we think that I tweak it so that it's worse, and then I submit my list next week and go, ha 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 ha, sucks to be you? Holy shit! Choked on my apple. Thank you so much, Ed. That's really kind of you. I appreciate that. Anyone who has been given a membership, please do say thank you to Ed. It's very kind of him to do so. But also on Discord, make sure you type in the need role section and let me know your YouTube username, and I can give you access to the VIP section for a month. As I was saying that it was really kind of him, I've now realised that this is a 4D chess plan to have more people to mock me in the VIP chat. You said "fuck you, Lewis. You deserve a prize." Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So, so. First of all, there's no Pegasus Knights, and that's fine. This is Lewis's very nicely painted vampire counts that he's going to be running as Bretonians, which is a fantastic idea that I had first. But I did nothing about it, so I can't really claim it. Now, I don't like the loadouts. The Duke is fine. It's the Ogre Blade Knightly Temper character. That's okay. I think let's just go for the two standard Duke loadout, like Baron loadouts. I don't see a reason to go for something different, frankly. The normal loadouts are so good for Bretonia that, yeah, I don't see a reason not to do it. So we're just going to tweak this around. So this is going to be the heroism character. And we're just going to go for the standard. And as we're doing it, I'll walk through why it's good. So we're going to go Syrian's Locket, so you're immune to multiple wounds. This is really important because there's a lot of cannons in the meta you don't want to be sniped by. If you came up against, Goldfire's list, you don't want to die to the multiple wounds on the Ogre Blade from the Chaos Lord and the Strikes Last, that sort of thing. We're going to go Grommel Great Helm, especially important because you don't have a unit to join. So getting to that 2-up armor save is really strong, just a solid thing to have in general. A Gauntlet of the Jewel, it's not necessary. I don't mind putting it on, though. It just gives you a little bit of spice there. And that's about it. You don't actually need anything else at all. So this is a very easy one. Oh, and we'll make sure we give you a lance because we've just taken the weapon off you. So this is the fairly standard Duke, and it's missing something because normally it has more points. What item am I missing? Is it normally because we used to put we didn't put the Falcon horn on there. We don't have the points for it. Oh, That's what we're missing. Paymaster's Coin. We'll go Paymaster's Coin because you haven't got a unit of Pegasus Knights to join, so you're not able to put the Banner Echelons / Honorable Warfare on there. So you're not going to get rerolls against the Dragons, so we're going to give you the Paymaster's Coin. Job's a good one. I'm going to end up taking Dark Elves to this event, and he's going to beat me with this character that I've just juiced up, and it's going to be so annoying. By doing that, we now have an actual good Monster Slayer character, not the Dragon Slaying Sword here. Which isn't actually really going to do anything. So this character becomes the standard Ogre Blade choppy character. Now, it is very swingy in that, it hits very hard, and unfortunately it doesn't have a unit to join, but it punches real hard. So, just keep it near the units. You've got lots of units here that can use it for lone character targeting, and then you've got something to fly around. You gave it the Questing Vow, which is interesting. It is a nice little bit of tech that I've seen people do, giving it rerolls against Fear, Panic, Terror, which is when you were thinking about using it as an anti-dragon piece. I don't think it's worth doing in this version of it, so we can take that off, spare some points, and Lady Elise is fine. Now, onto the Grail Knights. You've given them the Falconhorn Friedland. This is illegal. Naughty, naughty. Always trying to do illegal stuff is Lewis. Takes bribes for takes bribes for his I don't know. I was going to say he works with rivers. I was going to say something about the takes bribes for allowing pollution or something, but I think that's just allowed. That's just like governmental oversight. So, Grail Knights, we've taken off the Falconhorn because you can't have it legally. I've also taken off the War Banner. I don't think you need it here. What I do quite like is this unit. If you're going with Grail Knights, you want them to get into combat. I think that's very, very important. And if we're doing that, let's go Rampaging Banner. Let's just make sure that we make it in. That's very good, in my opinion. Lady Elise, I feel like, is likely to join. So she's, providing the magic resist here that we would be getting otherwise. So I don't feel like we need to add anything to it. You could give them one of them, like the Virtue of the Joust for 20 points. 3 attacks, 3 rolling wounds. It's not awful. I don't think it's worth the points, though. Then, we've got the core units. Triple Knights of the Realm with Obsidian Lodestone. I don't hate that, actually. I think that's pretty interesting. And then 10 Men at Arms with double champion and a blessed triptych. This is terrible. I don't know what you're doing here, and neither do you, but that's okay. So what I think we're going to do is let's just go. I guess I really don't want it to just be. Let's even just get to like 20, and you go for a cheap unit. Something like this. It does put us 38 points over. That's the problem. Like, I know he's got a load of skeletons, so this unit's fine. I think in the interest of not just having a bad list, let's drop one of the Knights of the Realm. Let's make this a reasonable sized unit. Let's go 30. I'm pretty sure he has 30 skeletons, so this is okay. And then these 2 units here, maybe we just bulk one up to 9 and one up to... Okay, let me drop some points here. 9 and 8. This feels fine. It's almost as many models. We're at 5 instead of 6 for the last unit. Yeah, I feel like this works reasonably well with the theme. Now, would this list be better with Pegasus Knights, not Ground Knights? Yes, absolutely. But that's what we've got. Why magic resist with the Knights of Rome? It doesn't stack with the Ladies MR. That's true, but the Lady Elisa is going to join the Grail Knights, I'm pretty sure. So magic resist 1 on both of these units, magic resist 2 on this unit, and then these 2 characters being untargetable is the goal, I believe. I'd also love to see a damsel on foot in this unit of Men at Arms, but we just don't have the points for it. So this is what we're going to go with, and yeah, hopefully I will. my delivery from DPD will have turned up, and I will actually have my Beastman, and I'll be able to hit him with 5 Vile Tides. That would be fun for all the family, wouldn't it? That'd be great. Oops, I just asked the wrong Lewis. Let's at the correct Lewis, not the space poop. Cool. Cool. Alrighty then. Perfect. So, Phil's been here. Phil has submitted an interesting list. So this is a foray list. For those of you who don't know, foray I don't think it's an official system. It's one of Rob's inventions. He's written a pack where you have to have minimum of 2 units instead of 3 because it's only 500 points. You are restricted. You can have special units capped at 150 points. Rare is still capped at 125. Core is capped at 175 if you want to go a bit bigger. Character's still capped at 125 points, just the quarter there. And you're allowed one single 0 to 1,000, sorry, 0 to 1 per 1,000 point choice to add to your list. And in this case, you've gone for a Death Trigger rocket launcher because we're talking about using the base list here. So I think this makes like a lot of sense. Let's have a look at it. Demon Smith Sorcerer, on foot Demonology Spell Eater Axe. I guess yes. I'm just wondering what you're going to cast. You've gone for Demonology. You've got the summoning. Your chance of casting it is pretty low. But if it does go off, it's devastating. Restrictions are from the free 500-point mission the games were actually putting out. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Let's come back to the character. Core, we've got some Infernal Guard, full command, hand weapon shield. Yeah, I like this. This is just a tanky unit. Then we've got Hobgoblin Cutthroats. This feels solid. Would I want to put the standard bearer in? You only give up 25 points at 500 points. So maybe Demonology as a placeholder. Don't know what lore to take. That's fair. That is fair. I'd love to take Battle Magic. Obviously, we can't. So that's out the window. And then we've got the Death Shrieker. This feels solid, I think. Yeah. It gives you the opportunity for this, the big one. The Infernal Incendiaries, they have no AP at all. It is higher. It's a higher strength than a mortar, which is interesting. Hellbound is pretty solid, although if you misfire, I guess the Demon Smith helps you not misfire. And you get to reroll one scatter or artillery die. Yeah, probably worthwhile. I like it. I think I like this. I wonder if we have, instead of the Demon Smith Sorcerer, we go with an Infernal Castellan. Now, where this might fall down is the model that comes with it. I'm pretty sure the model that comes with it is very clearly a wizard. Though I guess there's nothing really stopping you from, just taking a Seneschal. Internet's being slow as balls. Because this feels like 120 points for this doesn't feel super useful. It doesn't feel like it adds a huge amount. Whereas if we went, it's not. It's wishful thinking that it's in the correct slot. Okay. Helmsmiths. Look at that cheeky chappy. What a friendly man. Just reminding myself what comes in the box. Okay, so we've got this model, which I think you could use this as a Seneschal. It's obviously a wizard, but I don't think using it as a Seneschal would be particularly bad. We've got the rocket launcher here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess you've got this as a unit filler. It is amazing how little value they get in Age of Sigmar compared to Old World. Yeah, I think let's change this over to a Infernal Seneschal. Give him a great weapon. Give him a charm shield, question mark? Maybe it's just Talisman of Protection. Old Chuff models were far cooler and they departed too much from it, even if subtly. It's a complete rebranding, isn't it? I like the new models, but I see why people liked the old ones as well. One of these gives magic resist. Maybe we just go like that. Give it magic resist 2. You can still go great weapon. Give him a shield. Actually have a little bit of oomph. 3 attacks there. That's not bad. That is not bad. I think I like this more than the wizard. Yeah, and then here, I guess Go +2 minus musician +3, so 18. I like having musicians, but the points just don't quite fill out for it. Yeah, I think this works. It doesn't. There's not a lot that you can really do with that box and or foray, but I think this is probably the way that I would go. Um, I was vaguely considering, and I don't think I'm going to do it because Age of Sigmar pricing is wild. I really like the new sculpts for Chaos Dwarves. I was considering buying them and using them as dwarf models, and then I thought there's just not enough variety. This is going to get old very quickly, and also my wallet will really suffer for it. But yeah, no, love it. Have you got like a foray event coming up, Phil, or is it just something that you're going to be playing at your local scene? Oh, done a lot more nattering than normal, so we're gonna maybe just speed up a little bit. Hopefully on Monday. Amazing. I'm looking forward to my first foray experience tomorrow. If I've got time, I might even dry brush the bases so that they're not just, brown texture, AK Interactive Dark Earth. Could put a little bit of detail on there. I've also got some flowers that I was thinking about putting on. I just don't know if I'll have time, given everything. Then they didn't do more with Chaos Dwarves. Don't worry about it. They'll do a second wave. It's all armies get a limited first wave release, and then 4 years later we'll get a second wave in the next edition. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Now, Thena says, playing the first list at 2,000 points, but I have a tournament that they're thinking to going to Harlequins in Preston. And it's 2.4k, so I've updated this to the second list. So they did submit 2 lists. I'm just looking at the second one because I don't need to see the one that they updated it from to rate this one, I think. But, thank you for more information. Not opposed to that. Okay. Okay. Sorcerer Lord. Level 3 Lore Familiar. Not bad. I would like to see a Power Scroll. Let's just make sure that we're getting the key spell off on the turn that we need to. You are Mark of Zinch, so you're getting an additional +1 to cast, but let's just not mess about. Let's just make sure that we're definitely getting the spells off that we need. So it's going to be Arcane Urgency, right? So the chance of rolling a 5 on 2d6 is pretty high, surprisingly high. It's like a 10 in 36 chance, I think. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 10 in 36. Fire, Fur of Shargu and Burning Blade. What is this? Fur of Shargu. Okay, so we can just go Black and Plate, and that gives us a better armor save. That gets us to a 2-up armor save between the heavy armor and the Black and Plate, and then the Armored Hide 2. Black and Plate gets us there, and also let's go Great Weapon. Burning Blade is a terrible weapon that you'd only take if you're really worried about dealing with enemy melee ethereal. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, Great Weapon, Heavy Armor, Shark Attack. This is a classic. Down here, we've got Double Gigantic Spawn. These are fantastic. No notes. Warhounds. Let's go. 3 units is fine, but let's just go 2 units with Vanguard to start with because we did need a couple more points. We can add a third one if needs be. We've got a big unit of Knights, Brazen Collar, Lancer Shields, Mark and Nurgle. So this goes with the. Oh, the Zinch Wizard's on foot. Okay, so it's not. It's Oaken Shield and Fireball that's most important. Okay, sure. I think if we're doing that, you're wanting to be able to blast, right? So let's go level 4 with a spell familiar instead of a lore familiar, because that way you can still swap into the blue fire and actually do some decent range damage with theoretically fireball and blue fire, and still get Oaken Shield most of the time. Most of the time, it is a little bit more risky, but the ceiling is so much higher. The fact that the floor is lower is not super important. Chaos Lord, Great Weapon, Full Plate, Mark and Nurgle, Chaos Dragon, Regen, Favorite Gods. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. That's a triple save Chaos Lord. I like that. We'll give him a shield as well because he's got full plate, so that gets him to a 3-up save against shooting. But otherwise, that is fine. And then we've got the Exalted Champion, BSB Razor Standards. That's probably not the one we want to go for. Shield, Chaos Steed, Ogre Blade. Okay. Okay. This champion is here to slap. So instead of the Razor Standard, we could go Rampaging Banner. What have we got in here? So these Chaos Knights, let's give them not Blasted Standard, Icon of Darkness. Just getting immediately shot off the board is really solid. And then this one, probably Rampaging Banner if we want to go for anything. I think that's a really solid banner to put on Cavalry. It's something that's grown me more and more over time. Yeah. Normally, I don't like Mark and Nurgle on my core, but you've got a BSB that's literally going to be in the unit, so that protects you in the same way Mark Undivided does. This unit is good. Let's give them shields. For a pointer model, makes a huge difference in their ability to stay alive. 20 warriors. We need some points. I'd love to see more magic resist here, honestly. But okay, so you got the Brazen Collar here. I think let's go Brazen Collar on this character as well, because we want to make sure that we're just not getting ruined by spells. We're going to drop one model, and we can still have the 4x5 with the Sorcerer Lord in there if you want to go for it. Do they need a magic standard? There's some good ones, but we probably don't need to bother. You need an excuse to paint a model with a kick-ass burning blade. That, you know what? I missed that at the time. That's a good reason to go for it. Yeah. We do need to shave some points here. So honestly, like I don't really. Oh, you've given it an extra attack as well. No, let's just drop that, bulk this back up, and I think this is going to be a lot stronger. We can go back for the extra unit of Warhounds, and then we literally just need 16 points to get back up to here. I'd love to see a Ruby Ring on this model as well. Let's just really double down on the range fire support, which is, I'm assuming, what its job is. At which point, drop 19 points. It's got to be Chaos Warriors, and then we can drop Vanguard off one of the models just for points versions. But yeah, I think that is a good version of the list there, Thena. Hope that is helpful. Cool. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's move on to Vesper did submit a list and they are actively chatting. So now is a good time to look at your list. Let me just scroll up here. Is Discord being slow? Is my internet being slow? Let me just double check that I am still live here. Nothing's gone wrong on that end, I hope. I don't know if my internet's still up. It is being slow as balls. All right, no, there we go. It's loaded. Another Warriors of Chaos. It's Treja Vu. Have we had 3? We have had 3. Very good. All right, so he put some notes in Discord that I need to scroll up to read. Let me have a look here. Let me have a look here. Moving away from elves, you've taken on a big challenge of converting a Chaos Army into an Arabe-based Chaos cult, and one for non-Chaos Arabe, for which I'm using Brett's Exiles. This is now my long-term project. That's pretty cool. A couple of things you wanted to hit. Very narrative-driven. You want heavy magic focus with a Tzeentch focus and no dragons. Okay. You want to know, is this good enough output to comfortably play at a less than competitive level? Yeah, Warriors are still pretty decent, even without dragons. They're not as optimal, but I'm pretty sure you can do something decent. Fly around as a point, capture block with enough range, magical pressure, minus 2 to being hit by ballistic skill, enough of a body to withstand melee, while also the rest of the list operates independently and provides other forms of pressure. Should I have just gone with the warp fire instead of the spawns? Violates the no dragon rule, but it needs to be able to function at a decent level, then I would have to accept it. Thank you, wishing the best as always. That's really nice. Okay, so we've gone wizard heavy. Now this is not as good as it was previously. Spells are worse, but I think you can still do it, and it's a fun concept. So let's walk through. So Tzeentch for Skull of Catan, Spell Familiar, Diabolic Splendor. This is a good loadout. I like this. I like what you've gone for. Level 2, Demonology, Power Scroll, Lore Familiar. So this is where we're going. Steed of Shadows. The problem with Steed of Shadows is you're not marching and casting spells. It's still 12 inches of movement, which is not to be sniffed at, but it's not as fast as I'd maybe like it to be. This one here, Rod of the Damned. Rod of the Damned. I've forgotten what the Rod of the Damned does. The summoning bound spell level 2. Okay, great stuff. Love that. Okay, this one we're going to make battle magic because either you're taking the Mark of Tzeentch blue fire, or you roll fireball, and in some matchups that's going to be better, or you roll like whatever you don't get on this character. Maybe you roll this one first. No, sorry, you roll the Sorcerer Lord first, and then if you don't hit a certain spell and you roll into it, or if you want a backup of like Oaken Shield or something like that, you have the option to go down that route. I don't think it's necessarily the right choice a lot of the time, but having the option to either get Fireball is good, or to be like, oh, I didn't get Arcane Urgency, at least I get it here. Obviously, Arcane Urgency with a 12-inch move is good. You might roll Arcane Urgency. Yes, that's correct. So, 18 warriors, Brazen Collar, Icon of Darkness, halberds. Halberds are fine. Halberds are fine. I think I'd probably just stick, honestly, with hand weapons. I guess it's not the end of the world. It's 18 points for halberds. I think most times you're going to be using the hand weapons. The time that halberds come up is if you're parked in front of someone and then you charge. But I think most of the time you're going to want to shoot. Halberds are better if you're getting the charge, right? I guess they're better if you follow up as well, but you're probably going to test to restrain and then try and shoot. So I don't know how often you'll use the halberds. It's probably going to be hand weapon shield most of the time. But for 18 points, it's not the end of the world. Then we've got some corn, flail, shield, light armor, horseman. This is my favorite setup. I think I drop the Horsemaster because you don't have any characters that you're trying to challenge protect. So just making it so that someone can't challenge you if you have to charge into them is probably better. I know you lose a little bit of leadership. You go from 7 to 6, but you're frenzied, so it doesn't matter almost all of the time. When it does matter, you've got so few models left that you're like, whatever. That's a good point. The points are expendable. Yeah, I don't hate it. And honestly, just paying for vibes, having some fancy halberds is not the end of the world. And then these Warhounds definitely want Vanguard here. 8 Chosen Knights. Here we go. Brazen Collar War Banner. Again, I don't think we need the War Banner. They do so much damage that +1 combat res isn't going to matter much. Rampaging Banner, making sure we get there, that's the key in my mind. I'd also give them Drilled. It just gives them a lot of flexibility to get around the table. Lets them get out of awkward spots a lot of the time as well, which is nice. Double Spawn. So I think in terms of the list, right? What you've got is you've got Brazen Collar on all of your important stuff, and then you've got 2 Spawn, which have no magic resist, which makes them a target. So I think the Warpfire Dragon's better. Is it unplayable with the Spawn? No. I think it just means in a magic-heavy matchup, it would be worse. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Warpfire Dragon in, and if you prefer the Spawn, you can still play that version. Maybe it's worth proxying both of them and seeing how it plays out, or if you just don't want to go down this line, you don't have to. But the fact that the dragon can be a wizard as well, I think is worth at least playing with. You go battle magic, you hope to roll into Oaken Shield, or in a matchup where you want more range pressure, I guess Fireball, and if not, you just go Hammer Hand. You have more experience with dragons, you can kind of excuse to come up with a Dune Dragon. Yeah. I think because everything else has magic resist, it's really valuable having magic resist here. That to me feels good. The problem comes in, we're now quite over on points. We're 76 points over. So, Power Scroll, Lore Familiar, Rod of the Damned. Honestly, where's the Ruby Ring as well? Like that feels important, right? I don't know that we can fit it in. It's Rod of the Damned or Ruby Ring. Okay. KS players should just have 2 Spawn and a Dragon in their collection anyway. I mean, yeah, that's fair. They are pretty damn good. It's a shame Beastmen can't take the Warpfire Dragon. That'd be cool. Or is it Chaos get all of their cool stuff? Why not vice versa? I think here we can maybe just go 6. Like, I think they're punchy enough that 6 of them still feels good. Or we could go 7, and then I think 6 is fine. Like 8 is cool, but it's a lot of points on the table. and you're probably only getting 6 or maybe 7 into base to base anyway, so you're losing out a little bit on efficiency there. And they've got the magic resist, and they've got a 2-up save against shooting, so theoretically they should mostly get to combat. You have the same problem with Ruby Ring. The problem is that I thought they may as well go Rod because it shares a range with Blue Fire. That's true. That's maybe a reason to not go for Rod, actually. In fact, yeah, let's make that switch because sometimes having longer range means that you can. It's harder for your opponent to play around you if you've got a long range magic missile there. And it also just gives you more flexibility in that you can reach out and touch something that is not your primary target. So you maybe fire this after other things if the range matters. I know normally you want to go for um, bound spells first, but in this case, it's one of the reasons where you go, actually, I'll roll my Ruby Ring last because I'm hoping to kill the unit I'm shooting at with all of the other stuff first. At which point we have here, I'm thinking we can maybe go back up to. We drop the halberds because I don't actually think they're super useful, and we could drop. If we drop one model here from 18 to 17, then we've got 5 points remaining. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. You probably don't want to be rolling on the Gaze of the Gods, but I think this list is happy to roll because it's a 1 in 36, right? It's a 1 in 36 that you roll stupidity twice, which is unfortunate if it comes up. But if you can get Gaze of the Gods on it, if you can get a 6, because you start out with a lower leadership, getting +1 leadership is really big in this list. So I think a single favor of the gods on the Sorcerer Lord, and you stop rolling as soon as you don't get it. Getting up to leadership 9 or 10, I think, is really valuable. So yeah, I think that works. Now, obviously, this is less good than the standard chaos stuff, but honestly, in the meta, might do better. Like this has a better chance of killing balloons and stuff, right? So I think this is fun. I think you're playing to a theme. I think you will probably lose to the top tier armies, assuming equally skilled opponents. And then I think you will probably be able to hang very well with the mid tier armies, and you should beat up on the poorer tier armies. And you'll have some weird matchups where like bad armies have loads of magic resist. Like maybe someone's brought a bad Empire list, maybe Knightly Order, but they've taken loads of. I was going to say Knightly Order would beat you with loads of magic resist, but I think you'd just beat that on base stats alone. So yeah, no, I think this is good. Warriors of Chaos is just like the floor on the list is very high, so it's hard to have a bad list. And I think your list concept was good to start off with, which is a great place to be. Ah, amazing, amazing. Oh, I missed it earlier. Only Flank said nothing wrong with Warriors of Chaos. There were 2 Warriors of Chaos armies at Club last night, and 4 units of actual Warriors of Chaos across those 2 games. That's amazing. That's a lot of Warriors of Chaos. You want to lock it in so you can invest in the full conversion. Much gin, very blue fire. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm really excited to see what you're doing. Feel free to shoot any. If you've got like inspiration pictures or something, I'd love to see them. If you, I guess, yeah, like VIP chat might be the place to put them, or Warriors of Chaos, or if you wanted to put it as a more open point of discussion. But yeah, that's cool. That's a really fun idea. I love a bit of conversion. I need to start doing it more, but I've got my hands full actually. I've got 2 armies that I want to do, and also I need to actually get started on the heraldry. All right. I saw Tommy earlier. I don't know if they're still here, but Tommy put in a Jade Fleet list. Update on the previous version of this list. Tournament next weekend. Most curious about lore thoughts on the 3 Shugs. Really enjoy the toolbox of high magic and how good Drain magic is. Also, curious about slamming Morshard into core. Okay. I am not a high magic believer, but a lot of very good people are. So I think I need to reconsider. I do need to reconsider. I will maybe play around with it. So let's assume that high magic is worth going for because a lot of people do like it. Vermilion quills. I need to remind myself what the vermilion quills do. Oh yeah, Oh yeah, 25 points. That's the reroll hits and wounds. Monkey King's wisdom is hilarious. So strength 10, AP 4, melee weapon, strike last, whatever, multiple wounds D3. This thing is absolutely busted. In my opinion, I feel like I'd be tempted to go illusion on this caster because sure, you're just dry rolling, but if you get spectral doppelganger, unbelievably good. If you don't get Spectral Doppelganger, you're probably getting Miasmic Barrage, so you can pin the opponent in place so that the dragon that you're trying to charge can't run away. You can maybe Column of Crystal. You can maybe, even just Mind Razor is fine. It's not good, but it's fine. And you can always swap into. You've got here Law of Yang. I think it's Law of Yin that I prefer, but I guess especially if you're going Illusion, it gives you more yeah, so I'd probably go Law of was it Yang that has Heaven and Earth? Okay, yeah, no, you've got the right one here. That's fine. Yeah, okay. So Shuggy Lord, I think I like Illusion there. Then we've got Double Wizard. You tried High Magic and it made you sad. Spectral Doppelganger on that end. Worlds. Yeah, absolutely. That Lord has killed several dragons. It's wild. Love that. Love that. So we've got Celestial Blade, Iron Talons, Heavy Armor, Level 1 Wizard, Guardian Feng Shui Bow, which is the -1 to hit item, right? Yeah, 35 points. It is weird that it's an arcane item that's -1 to hit, but who am I to argue with Cathay? Um, I think we just so if you're doing that here, like this one, maybe you can take High Magic on. Hammerhand is obviously good, but High Magic, so you can have the flexibility of Drain Magic. It's I'd say like if you want high magic, I just don't value high magic, so I'm gonna say I wouldn't put it in my list. But I think this is where you fit it in, so I'm gonna put it on. But feel free to swap back to battle magic if you value the hammer hand more. I think hammer hand's very strong here, and having the flexibility between just being able to roll, take constellation of the dragon, or go hammer hand, both are fine. It's really annoying because it'd be great on the gatekeepers. Sure, I don't know that I'd spend 35 points for it on a gatekeeper. But then, like, yeah, I'm looking at it through the lens of like some ridiculous hyper efficiency, right? So, uh, single cannon, Sentinel, Priest of Sigmar. Oh, amazing. Oh, yes. Okay, cool. So this is where the Jade Fleet comes in. I really like the Priest. Just giving rerolls to the Lancers, I think, is very fun. Also providing with the Barded Warhorse first charge, just a great little combo there. Twice Blessed Armor, which gives you Hammer Hand, which is great, and then the Ring of Tal, which I think is Oaken Shield. Yeah, Oaken Shield. So being able to give this unit a ward save is really nice. You haven't given him a shield, which I would do. I know he's got a great weapon, but sometimes you just want to not die, especially if you're providing the ward save, or if you have to tank a challenge from a dragon or something. May as well. It's only 2 points. Okay. I'd also love to give this. You know what? Maybe we just go double Feng Shi Bow, right? What if we just do this and go both of them illusion, and both of them are -2 to hit in combat? That feels really annoying to deal with. Points wise, we are massively over. So that is a limiting factor. We've got the strategist. Realistically, this does need Talisman of Protection. You want to go for the double save here. And then also Dragon Fire Bombs there. But this is where we're probably looking at making some sacrifices, I guess. So here we just can't fit in the Guardian Feng Shi Bow. And I guess it's so sad. I feel like I'm just gonna say cut the Sentinel for another cannon, which feels bad in terms of just not playing the standard stuff. But in terms of like if we're trying to, this was for a tournament, right? So in terms of the tournament list, I think we just go like this, another cannon here, and then I guess we could go one more model in the Lancers because they're going to be joined by the priest. I'd definitely give them drilled and maybe stubborn. Do I want to give them stubborn? I don't know if I care about stubborn. Stubborn is 4 points over. I'm not super worried about that. Ran into major points issues. Yeah, unfortunately, the Sentinel is just not like if you're trying to make a good Cathay list, the Sentinel probably just doesn't make it in, which is a shame because it's an amazing model. But in terms of just efficiency, like a second cannon's really good, and it's almost 100 points less. It frees up a lot of points for us to just add some extra stuff in. So here, Heavenly Fury. I like Heavenly Fury. And I wouldn't hate Stubborn on this unit. So maybe we go Stubborn there, and we only got 8 Jade Lancers, and we drop the Musician from the Jade Lancers because they're theoretically in the hit harder. Like something like this, I think works better. So I really like the characters we've gone for. Although I would have loved to have put, I'd have loved to have put a second Feng Shui bow in here. I guess that's the problem with the Monkey's King Wisdom. It's very expensive. This core feels fine. The Jade Banner is the no thank you, I don't want your spells, right? Oh no, it's Grand Banner of Superiority because they're all messed up. Is it Standard Wei Shin? I forgot that this was messed up. I should really send the guy a message. Whatever. Jade Banner, I'm pretty sure, is the one that gives you like a semi-immunity to magic. So we'll just assume that. But yeah, I think this feels like it. This is a list that if I saw at a tournament, I'd be like, okay, I can beat this, but also there's stuff in here that I'm scared about, which feels like a really nice middle ground for Cathay. And the fact that you haven't put any Jade rings in, or rings of Jet, sorry, and you've actually gone with an Empire model. Yes, it is going in with the Lancers, but the Lancers are being used as a melee unit. I think that's cool. I really like what you've done here. This is a fun list. And I don't say that as a negative. I think it's still got good teeth. So yeah, good list, Tommy. +2 to res. Isn't that am I wrong? That's the Grand Banner of Superiority, which if we look in here, the Grand Banner of Superiority is +2 combat res. Is that not what I'm looking at? Oh. Almost searched toe. Let's see if tau.whfb is up to date. J Banner. Oh no, it's just that they named it wrong here. Okay, I knew there was something wrong about it, but I guess they did it wrong in the book, not in the builder. All right, cool. +2 combat res. That's fine. I feel like this unit. I know I've said every time there's a cavalry unit, I'm like, this unit doesn't need more combat res. It needs to get into combat. This unit needs more combat res. Jade Lancers do not hit hard, so plus combat res feels very good there. I think I like that. All righty then. What have we got left? So let's shift this one up the screen so I don't try and do it twice. We've got some more Warriors of Chaos, some Orcs and Goblins, Gnome, Wood Elves, Dwarves, and Empire. Let's start with a Dwarf list. Zarkin, submitting on behalf of a friend who's planning to attend his first ever Old World event later this month. Amazing. A small Grand Melee and Combined Arms event. You're welcome, Tommy. So, this is X-Force, and it is moderate on the copters. So just to talk about the copters, these things are disgustingly good, but they don't kill a lot unless you have them en masse. So ballistic skill 4 is fine, but you're shooting with clatter guns, so you're hitting on 4's best case scenario. They have quick shot and move and shoot, so you're likely only shooting with -1 to hit from multiple shots. So 2 of them, 7 shots, 3.5 hits. You know, you're theoretically doing probably 2 wounds to something from a unit of 2, which is not bad, but it's not great. So they do better when they're run as a lot of them. I'd be tempted to, and this is probably a restriction in terms of what is available. I'd be tempted to go more copters here to try and just double down on that. These copters having steam guns I quite like now that people are playing bigger units. Also, 2 of them is unit strength 6. This unit is good at charging, doing some impact hits into small insignificant units, positioning to hit multiple things with steam guns, or going for like baggage trains to destroy them. So I do like this unit. We don't talk about dwarves very much on this channel, but I, funny enough, do pick up a couple of bits and pieces when I, existing near Richie. Double Rangers and the Warriors. Is it? Yeah, it's two units from Rangers. So the Rangers are good. I like the Rangers. They're fully equipped. I'd put the unit champions in as well, because if you get charged by a dragon, you just don't want to give that up for free. And then this unit here, full command, rune carry through the battle, solid. All of this is good. I probably wouldn't bother with drilled personally. I like drilled on warriors when I've got something to make them go faster. But I think here, if you're just moving 6 inches or 9 inches, I'd rather just move 6 inches and be ready to receive the charge. I'd rather give it Vanguard if I was going down that sort of line. I think I wouldn't mind giving it Veteran. Actually, giving them Veteran here would be pretty solid. I think. In terms of characters, the Engineer, yep, Runesmith, Master Rune of Calm. I do like a couple of runes of spell breaking. Can we only go one here? Let's put at least one on. Full plate, great weapon, great stuff. Love that. Shield as well is very good. And then we've got two Thanes. So this Thane is the Ward Save Banner, great weapon, Shield Bearers, Rune of Grommel for a 2 Palmer save, Rune of Preservation for immune to multiple wounds, and Rune of Passage so you can go through terrain. This is good. I really like this. This is your like Dwarf King light because you can't take kings in this detachment. No, but like Damonson's interesting actually. He goes really well with the Rangers. I'd quite like to see him in, but I guess points are a little bit hard. This Thane is the Bursting Rune Thane. Great stuff. Love that. No notes there. This is just solid. And then I think we just dropped the Thunderers. As much as it would be nice to have them, they are cool. And we put in Burlock Dammonson. And then we just go Burlock Dammonson is the general. Because he adds so much in terms of the Rangers shooting at full ballistic skill. I think he's so solid. Empire next. I wonder why you want Empire, Daniel, who might have submitted an Empire list. We can do Empire next though. Good to have people here when I'm looking at their lists. So yeah, I think this is solid. This is just dwarf good stuff. It doesn't really lean into the strengths of Expeditionary Force as much as it could, but that is a very skewed list that I think honestly is probably not that fun to play. I know Richie's pretty burnt out on it, so I like what you've done here. Rangers are great. I love them. Having a Dwarf Warrior Bunker is great. Units of Gyrocopters, I'd love to have more, but I think they're still decent. Sorry, I pronounced that wrong. Eurocopters, because we all know that that's how Euro is pronounced for the Greek takeaway food. What else after Empire? Oh, they're all popping out of the woodwork now. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that. We will do that. Yeah, I like this list. Either you wrote it and it's good, Zarkin, or your friend wrote it and it's good. And I like both of those. So let's go. Let's make sure I'm atting. Sweet. All right. You've played this list and been almost tabled by it with my no shooting Slanesh list. That's fun. That's fun. A no shooting Slanesh list is something that I lost to heavily at the start of the edition when I was playing ogres, and I played someone who was pretty solid, who actually mods on the Warhammer Fantasy Battle Discord. They gave me a run around, and I didn't realize who they were until their name pipped up later, and they mentioned that they played against me. But yeah, it taught me a lot about rank and flank that I had not learned from playing as a child, and just been like, I move my units towards you. He just ran around me. In retrospect, that list had very few teeth, so actually killing me was probably difficult, but outmaneuvered the hell out of me. I love seeing people do good movement bullshit, even against me, because you learn from it. It's really solid. All righty then. So that was Zarkin's list. It'd be really funny, Daniel. There are two Empire lists to look at. I could look at the other one if you wanted. You didn't specify. No, we'll look at your null list. Oh, hey, hold on. Hold on now. I had a bone to pick with you, actually. You typed, love your show at 6++ Lewis. Lewis! Disgusting behavior. It's almost like, you've been rage baiting me. Can't believe you've done this. What Lewis does is he doesn't submit a JSON file, and then he submits a list with bad characters. You know, that's what you get from Lewis. Choose on Apple. All right, let's have a look at your list. Oh, first of all, sorry, very sorry about that. Forgive you. No, okay, you're forgiven. You're on thin fucking ice, though, buddy. You're on thin fucking ice. Um, thank you, by the way, to everyone who is here this evening. Obviously, as I'm sure you're all aware, the not TSN, Square Based leaked the Arcane Journal. So the fact that there's still 20 odd of you here is a lot of fun. Veered a little into Don Corleone. You come to me on the day of the Arcane Journal leaking, and you ask me. I've never watched the Godfather. She says that you're on thin ice. Fair. That is fair. All right. So, in terms of Nolan, I love General Hans von Lohenhack. I'm surprised that not as many people took him. The only person who took him to Worlds was Remy, one of my coaching students. I'm not going to claim, responsibility for that. That was something that he put in himself, and just seeing it in effect, I was like super fucking impressed. I'm a big fan of General Hans. Engineer with a ruby ring feels good. This is the stubborn banner, right? Grenade launching blunderbuss on foot, twice plus armor, warships forward. Okay, sure. Okay. I don't hate that actually. That's fine. Is cumbersome and ponderous. I think I'd rather see a repeater handgun because you can stand and shoot with it. The blunderbuss is better, but you'll get a little bit of static combat res from the repeater handgun, which you wouldn't get from the blunderbuss. So I think I like the repeater handgun here. They are ballistic skill 4, aren't they? Yeah. So you're hitting on 5s on the stand and shoot, whereas the blunderbuss you just don't get to shoot at all. Or is it a repeater pistol? It is quick shot. No, it's probably not that. It's probably not that at all. Hope to paint your chops before bed. Thanks, Phil. Have a good evening, and hope you have a good time on Monday. Vespa says, "Don't forget to like the stream." Yeah, I didn't even bother doing any of the normal YouTuber stuff because I knew it was going to be a quiet one. But yeah, if you're here and you haven't liked the stream, would appreciate that. Obviously, doing coaching, if you're interested in being coached by a world champion coach, which still feels weird to say, very much a little bit of imposter syndrome. Um, Everyone in the team has been like, no, make sure you've. Oh, sorry, that's not true. Everyone I've talked to in the team about it has been very sort of like, make sure that you were a part of it. Make sure that you say things. I don't know if everyone holds the same opinion. Maybe the people who don't just didn't shout up. I'm too British. I can't big myself up properly. Makes me uncomfortable. Anyway, let's look at the list. 25 state troops and 5 missile troops. This is the lower end of what I would want. Sure. Yes. The Vanguard on this gun is such a pain in the ass. It's so hard to play around. I really like that. Double Outriders, double cannon. I like the road ones a lot. I really like them. Famed Flight ambushes. Yeah. Big fan of that. Dragon Bow, Captain, may as well for the points. It gives you a lot of reliability. Witch Hunter with the demon. Yep, like that. Yep. So one's got magic resist, one doesn't. It's not enough points to give this one magic resist as well, which does bother me a little bit. I like all the pieces you have here. It feels like you've kind of gone in a couple of different directions. Like you normally see double volley gun or double road wardens. I don't hate splitting the difference for a singles list. I think in teams I'd want to go either way, but here I think it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't mind having 2 Hellblaster volley guns and 2 road warden and a road warden. I think that'd be good if you could fit it in. What would you have to drop to get there? A lot. Yeah, you'd really have to drop a lot. Okay, sure, that's fine. Hands giving the +1 to go first is really good. You've got limited drops. You've got 1 that can stay in reserve. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're probably going first. If you're probably going first, I really like another volley gun. I really like another volley gun. Just getting close and wrapping with a +2 to go first is terrifying, and it's going to win you a lot of games. But how do we get there? drop the ruby ring. So just to start off with, before I tweak, oh, thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. I missed it in chat. He thinks I'm pretty okay at coaching, or pretty all right at coaching, I should say. Um, so just as a default, I think your list is good. I think your list doesn't need tweaking. I want another Hellblaster Polygon in there, and I'm going to make some cuts to get that. So we're going to drop the Ruby Ring. I like the Ruby Ring, and I think it gives you power in matchups that you might struggle with a little bit, in that you will get additional strength against skirmishers that are -2, -3 to hit ballistic skill shooting. The downside is the engineer's not good at catching them, so I think dropping the ruby ring here is not awful. And then I think I don't want to drop the captain, but it's the sort of thing that we can drop. Honestly, do we maybe drop the master mage? Then you've got no dispel threat. I think it has to be the captain, and then we lose the rally. But I think we just have to live with that. Like you're making, we're skewing a little bit more here because this is so strong that it's worth being a little bit less reliable here because of how many games it's going to win you. Just like turn one, you vanguard forwards, you pivot, you get more range on your opponent than they think that you, or like not that they think that you can, because you can just, you'll tell them it's like I can vanguard these forwards, but it's so hard for people to play respectful that they probably won't because they'd have to be so far into their deployment zone. Also, you can vanguard backwards, so it's really really good. Here, I like all of this. I don't want to cut that. We're 15 points over, so what do we do? What do we do? Magic resist and the armor and the hammer hand is really good. The repeater handgun, I mean, we could just drop the handgun there, and this character, like having a pistol is nice, but it's not necessary, so we'll just drop that. Here, oh, we didn't drop the, no, we did want to keep this character. I'm being stupid. We're only 10 points over here. So here we maybe just go. Ugh, feels rough to drop any models. 25. I don't want to go lower than 25. We can drop the repeater pistol. Bracer pistols is still pretty good, and we're just trying to be efficient. Feigned Flight is really worth having. I do really like that. Like here, I guess this feels so rough. We need one more point. Could you drop a few state troops? We could. We could. Would you not need an official engineer to be effective? You could add an extra one, but like here, it's not necessary. It's nice to have. We're kind of leaning on the cannons not needing them too much, and you just sort of you be a little bit more sparing with the organ guns. So if you have one engineer near two of them, on the first one, if you don't need to reroll, you don't, and then unless you get like 20 plus shots, you probably don't go for the ballistic skill, and then you save the real roll for the second one, which is a little bit less effective, but it just squeezes more juice out of them overall. 8 points. God, this sucks. I think the answer is we just lose the handgun here. As much as I like it, as much as it's cute to have a stand and shoot in there, I think this is the tweak that I make. And again, just to reiterate, I like your list. I don't think it needs changing. But if you are willing to play around with it, I think it is strong to put a second Vanguard and Hellblaster Polygon in, and it will make a lot of difference a lot of the time. Remove the BSB extra. Yeah, I really like the BSB. One of my worries with an engineer BSB for both Nuln and for X-Force is they're much easier to kill than their, the other units that they come with, because they can't buy good armor to start off with typically. So yeah, full plate here I think is really nice. The magic resist is not necessary, but it's very good. I like what we've gone for here. So yeah, I think this is a solid list. I like it. Hate to play against this with my Bretts. I don't know how I'd beat it. Come out into the open for one turn, pray would be the answer, and then lose because I get outridered to death. Interesting. This is Nolan is definitely a really solid army. Although I think my S tier rating for it is a little bullish. I think it's probably more A tier. It doesn't play super well into all of the stuff in the meta. In teams, I think it's incredible, but I think outside of teams, you're a little bit more limited, which is fine. Cool. Let's have a look at Corathan's Wood Elf list. So Corathan said, List for a 2,500 point tournament. Limits on the characters, no more than 1,000 points in total, and no more than 500 points per character. Yeah, this is a reasonable limitation. So, double Deepwood Scouts, minimum Glade Guard. You've gone Bodkins on all of them. Okay, sure. I prefer True Flight Arrows, but I can live with that. Glade Riders with Banner of Springtide, which is Quick Shot, right? Yeah, Quick Shot. Good stuff. Eternal Guard. Hate that. Hate that. Wild Riders, Wild Rangers. Okay, so these two infantry units I do not like at all. You're welcome, Daniel. You are welcome. Hope you have a good day, evening, whatever time it is in your locale. So, I there's a big focus on infantry at the tournament. Now, you can leave these in. I'm going to take it out, and the reason for that is I think you can do better. So. This character here, the Spellsinger with Scout Kindred, um, I like what you've gone for. It's fine, but I think we can maybe do better, or we can do something different. So, if you need infantry, something I've been genuinely impressed by is a unit of Dryads. Let's say we go 20 of them, or 19. Let's say we go 19. Give them a unit champion. Um, we don't need to give them anything. They come with magical attacks already, so no need for a resplendent. I think it's an annoyance is no good, right? Yeah. So what I'm looking for here is a spell singer. Oh, you're using Lore Familiar already. Okay. So you're using Lore Familiar. Uh, hold on. What is this doing? Heartwood Pendant lets you take Lord of the Wilds, sure. Lore Familiar Power Scroll, Talisman Protection, Level 4 Wizard on a horse. I'm assuming that you're putting that with the Wild Riders. Is that correct? One day ambushing Giants and Treeman will be the coolest. Yeah, like I can't wait. I really hope that they do an arcane journal that has an army of infamy for forest spirits in. I've got on my desk here one of the Blood Bowl Treemen because that'll be a really cool. What's the word I'm looking for? The middle ones, Treekin, Glade Riders. Interesting. I feel like the Glade Riders just want to be shooting, right? Because so we'll let me tweak this in terms of what I'm thinking, and then we can go back if we need to. We don't need a talisman protection here. It is the Glamour Weave Kindred, isn't it? I think. Yeah. So Tree Spirit, lore familiar character, that goes in the Dryads, casts Oaken Shield, Arcane Urgency, and you've just got a brick of like genuinely stodgy infantry that I think is very good. Dirthy's Wrath is a Hail Mary if needed. Okay, that's fun. It's a fun spell. I like it. I think it's fine, but I think you're better off using it as like a more focused tool. And if you go battle magic with this character, not only do you get the Oaken Shield, the Arcane Urgency, which is very strong, especially with elves, Arcane Urgency is incredible. You can also go with the Fireball. Just having Fireball here is really solid. And honestly, we probably just go Ruby Ring of Ruin as well. Stick that on, go double Fireball so that your stodgy combat unit that's holding objectives also has the ability to fire some fireballs if your opponent doesn't come towards you. I think that's a really strong way to build a Spellweaver. This character is cute, and I kind of like it. I'm very willing to to leave it as is. I see what you're doing with it. I think it's great. Losing the +1 to go first with your scout kind of sucks, but then also wood elves are a pretty like moderate to high drop army, so it's not the end of the world. This unit here is great. I would like to see some magic resist on them, I think, just for the sake of not having them fall over to Fireball. Just putting Obsidian Lodestone on them is nice and easy. And again, I always put Musician on if I can. I know you don't necessarily need it, but we're not sharp on points here. And then what we got? So we've got a Glade Lord who has got Great Stag, Spirit Twilight, Charm Shield around his favor. Spirit Twilight is fine. Killing Blow. I guess you did say it's an infantry heavy event. 6 attacks, sure. The spear is okay. It is aggressively okay. Always wounding on a 3 is quite nice when you're going into infantry and you just need a bulk of attacks. 6 attacks, hitting on 3s because you've lowered their weapon skill, wounding on 3s, rerolling everything that you need to. I think it's okay. No snappings performing with mischief. Yeah, that's fine. Stag. I like this. I like this loadout here. Then we've got the Glade Captain. Razor Standard. This is probably. Huh. Okay, so this was going with the Deepwood Scouts, not the Deepwood Scouts, the Eternal Guard, right? Sure. I think I personally don't know that it needs to stay in the list. Hail of Doom arrows as well. I need to refresh my memory on it. Small blast template. Shown 4AP1. I like it more than I liked it previously, but I think I still don't like it. Yeah, so he's going with one of the infantry units. What's the rest of your collection looking like, Carathan? Because I like what we've got here. Honestly, I'd probably just drop this BSB like so, and that leaves us with 540 points, which, well, I don't even know if you have dryads as well. This is kind of theoretical. That's mostly what you have painted. Okay. Um, if that's what you have painted, just looking at the characters, I think what you had was fine. The Dirthu's Wrath Dream is pretty decent. The level 2 Oakenshield character's fine. The Glade Lord with Spirit Twilight hits pretty hard into infantry or cavalry, so actually does pretty well into Pegasus Knights, for example. Could be really effective there. The BSB is a force multiplier on a unit that I don't think is worth force multiplying, but if it's what you've got, it's sure. Um, Given that it's for next week, I'm kind of loath to recommend you build a lot. But what I'll do is I'll just build it out because I think your list is fine given the restrictions of what you have painted and the time. But the tweaks that I would make, something along the lines of change the Spellweaver to foot, put it in the Dryads. Maybe a second stag character or something. I'm not really sure what we want to do with the rest of the points here. Another unit of Wild Riders. You said you had Wild Riders. Yeah, so like another unit of Wild Riders. 6 with light armor shields is generally what I go with as like an unsupported unit, and we can just give him an obsidian lodestone. Let's scroll up. You want something to screen, so two more units of Glade Riders is probably good, because you've got 30 more Glade Riders. I think these are generally just very good. I'd be tempted to go True Flight Arrows. I think that's what this list needs from these, and then give one of them reserve move because you can, in fact, probably give both of them. No, you want this unit to be reserve move, but something like this would be more the direction that I would go in. I'd also be tempted to put more into characters. 2,500 points is a really good opportunity to go like double dragon as well, or dragon plus a lord on a stag, and then just round it out with more stuff. You have a problem with Glade Riders in 8 that was just so fun and may have collected. I still think they're very good. I think they're very, very good. They're some of the best core, and they're sort of like just limited on points. I'd also like some screening hits for these Wild Riders, but the Glade Riders kind of double up on that. So this is sort of what I'd tweak with the collection, but I'm not really expecting you to be able to do that much given the time constraints. I would say you didn't do. Yes, yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, not being able to go triple like 2 dragons and a wizard does hurt actually. Wood Elves are one of the only factions that get hurt by the cap there. Um, yeah, I think like changing the Eternal Guard over to Dryads, I think is more valuable, and adding more Glade Riders, I think, is more valuable than the Wildwood Rangers. But just if you have time to make some tweaks, the first tweak would be get rid of the Wildwood Rangers and put in probably more Glade Riders. That would be my advice there. Or like fit in the Dryads if you can. Something along those lines, I think, would make the list better. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so let's have a quick look at Jordan's Saffron Slam list. So Jordan says teams in November at Saffron, nothing's above being cut or added, could drop the veterans and hands and 1 unit of Road Wardens, take another tank, and a unit of 10 plus Outriders and support. Yes, I think if you're doing stanks, I think you do 2 stanks. So let's go 2 stanks here. Yep. Cool, that's all good. I really like General Hands. I think he's very solid. I like this character, full plate, white cloak. Yeah, I like the dragon bow on him as well. If you've got points, which I think you should have points. So let's just put it on, and then we'll come back to it. Good. Um, Demon, Witch. So both of these units can have magic resist. Single engineer. Uh, yeah, yeah. This looks good. Like I think we may have to take the dragon bow off realistically. As much as I'd love to have it on there, I'd also love to have the Witch Hunter's Ward or the Twice Blessed Armor on this character. But I guess we're going more budget on this. What's he doing posting our team list? Steve is going to beat him. It's all right. What'll happen is I'll write him a list that's illegal. So, Lore Familiar Battle Magic. That is spicy. I think this needs a power scroll, right? Because there's going to be times where you need to get a spell off, assuming that you're going for Arcane Urgency. I feel like that's pretty important. Here, Witch Hunter's Ward, Griffin Standard. We're going to cut down here. This is unimportant, in my opinion. We're 130 points over. I think. I think you don't go double Witch Hunter and a Mage. With all the characters you've got, I think you've got to drop one of them. Then you haven't got the Lore Familiar character, which is difficult. Okay. It's the same problem we had with Daniel's list. Like it feels difficult to squeeze all the characters in. I think the Imperial Griffin is that on a different base size to a regular Griffin? I think it is. This is a 60 by 100, and this is a 50-50. Yeah, be throwing him under the bus anyway, as he deserves. As he deserves. I feel like this is a little too have cake and eat it too. Maybe it's the Road Wardens that have to go, but I really like the Road Wardens. 1 unit in reserve is good. Ooh. I don't know where you shave points from this. I really don't know where you shave points from this. I feel like one of the characters has to go, or the steam tank has to go. And I think it's one of the characters. And I think I maybe value the General of the Empire the least. Like the full kitted out version. Maybe we just go. I mean, you're only saving 30 points here. It's not even that much. I think these three. You can have these three, but you can't have these three and the general and this general. I think one of these 5 models has to go. But I don't know which one it is. It's a teams event. It's the Master Mage. The Master Mage goes because it's teams, and you just don't put it into something that you have to dispel against. I think that's the most correct way to do this. At which point, let's at least give this guy the twice blessed armor, so he doesn't just fall over to ethereal. Gives you a little bit more flexibility there. Okay. Yeah, that feels more correct. And you just accept that you don't have any wizards. Or you drop the second Witch Hunter for the wizard. In fact, I think that's probably what you do. Like, this would be cool to have, but I think just having the Dispel threat is better than having the. Like, Magic Resist 2 is nice. What is it you even get from the Witch? It's Magic Resist 2 and Hatred Enemy Wizards. Yeah. Let's just go Master Mage on horse, Squintoffins. It should be about the same points, and we'll tweak if we need to. Ooh, we're 1 point over. Fantastic. Amazing. Drop the repeater pistol down to just the bracer pistols. Job's good. Yeah. I like that more. I like that more. That feels a bit more tuned. It is a little higher on drops. So if this is your like anti-Cathay list, then maybe you just ignore what I said and you go as low drops as possible. Yeah. I don't know. It depends how you want to use it. If he's being thrown under the bus, I like the steam tanks because they're hard to remove. So they're very points dense, and you've got a lot of points tied up here that are hard to pick up. The cannons are easy to pick up. The outriders are moderate. Everything else is kind of hard to pick up, which is good. Cool, cool, cool. Let's have a look at Phenomenal Badger. Looking to have a unit of ball boys with as long of a charge range as possible. Wildbanner plus hopefully roll. Here we go to get a 22-inch potential charge. We're buying the unit for Oaken Shield and Arcane Anciency. 39 goblins is too big. That's fine. Okay. I mean, so starting off, double Doom Diver, great. Some Night Goblins with Fanatics, cool. The Spider Banner is not super efficient, but I don't hate it. It's still okay. I think the rumors of Poison being dead are over. It's more about the shooting large targets change. So, like, still having Poison is fine, I think. Goblins with the big red raggedy flag. Okay, you better have Kicknick. Okay, you got Kicknick. Okay, I'm on board with this combo. I think it's really solid. Banner of the Wilds is move through cover. Yeah. Okay. Is there a wizard going in with this unit? Why does this unit exist? It feels like you want to put a wizard in there with a reserve move on a wolf and the hat. I'd be tempted to just go like, where's the hat? Do I not have enough points? Oh, Ruby Ring can't go on the same character. It's not that one, Nathan. It's thinking of its hat. Right, yep. No, I do forget that. Okay. Okay, sure. So, Banner of Butchery, great. Love that. Ed Burton hat is funny. Cab Spears, heavy armor, shields biggins. Good stuff there. This is just like the loadout that I have been playing from from the start of the edition. I just haven't felt the need to update it. This is all fine, apart from this is a bit inefficient, but it's not the end of the world. You did talk about that. And then characters are fine. Level 2 Lore Familiar Battle Magic. It's only casting with +1. I don't love that. Warboar Spelliterax. I think having Spelliterax here is really disappointing, but I guess maybe you need protection against Ethereal. Oh god, that feels like it really sucks though. Let's at least give him a Charm Shield. Heavy Armor Charm Shield. Then we're 3 points over. Like this is an Orcs and Goblins pile. It's not bad. It has some of the good stuff in there. It would be better if you just went more artillery, more Night Goblins, like 3 units or 4 units. But I think with the units that you've chosen, you've supported them pretty reasonably well. So I don't think there's all that much that I want to tweak. Not having a ward save on the Orc War Boss as well feels pretty rough, but there's just no way to fit that in without dropping something else in the core slot. Like, you haven't even given him a shield, so I can't give him, like, drop that and find some points for Charm Shield. Yeah, I think this is about as good as this version of the list will get. which is fun. You know, not every list has to be as super tuned as possible. What have we got left here? We've got a dwarf list. Let's have a look at Larry's dwarf list quickly. It's past 10 o'clock. I still have a little bit of painting to do for tomorrow, so let's just have a look at this one. Longbeards, Rangers, Copters, Crush Cannon, Cannons, Iron Drakes. Okay. No, sorry, that was the only Orcs and Goblin list I got to, I'm afraid. Um, but if you submit for next week, and I am getting back into the habit of doing these, people don't get their lists looked at on back-to-back weeks unless I run out of people to look at. So you've got more shot of getting in. Okie dokie. So this is the Bursting Flame Thane. Good stuff. BSB Thane. Grogny Battle is fine. I would like to see. Oh, nothing here. He's on Shield Bearers though. I guess that's fine. Okay. Then the King's on foot. Huh? Okay. So let's go with some more standard loadouts. Let's go Great Weapon. We're going to go with Rune of Gromril and Smiting instead of Fury. Have we got points for that? Or do we not have points? 70 out of 125. What am I missing here? Preservation Gromril. Oh yeah, you lose the. Okay, so maybe we drop Gromril. As good as it is, Preservation I think feels better. We're going to get extra wounds from the shield bearer, so it's less important. And not be able to have everything that I want. Sucks. I guess we could go. Is it Fury for +1 attack? This is pretty spicy. The Thane BSB. We also want Rune of Passage in here, so you can move through cover, because otherwise moving 2 inches is really sad. Good stuff there. Like honestly, this one doesn't need to be on shield bearers. This one can be on foot, I would say. Rune of Passage is good here. I don't want it to die. Rune of Gromril, like in this list, I feel like is not the end of the world. Just getting a better armor save is solid, and then we can drop the shield as well. Burlock Davidson's okay. He goes for the Rangers. I can live with that. Then we've got an Engineer who's fine. Thane, Runesmith. Runesmith wants Room of Calm and Rune of Spellbreaking. So I feel like we might be trying to tick too many boxes at once. Like maybe we just lose Burlock Daminson. The Engineer loses the handgun because we don't have points for it. We'll come back to that in a second. Core, we've got the Longbeards, which are solid. I like what we've gone for here. The Rangers as well. Rangers are good. Love it. I'd just go with steam guns on the copters. If they're flying around, they've got bad ballistic skill anyway, so you may as well save the points and go for the steam gun. And then we probably want some runes on these, and also the Iron Drakes. Iron Drakes are fine. Cannon will go. One goes. Hold on. Let's start with the Growth Thrower. So Growth Thrower goes with Forging. Cannon goes with Reloading, and then one cannon goes Reloading and Forging. And then we need to shave some points. I think we've just gone too heavy on characters. I think it might have to be Burlock Daminson that goes. As much as I like him, I think we're over egging the pudding. These Iron Drakes are good, but also it's hard to fit them in. So we've got the Killy King, we've got the Thane, we've got the Engineer, we've got the Double Shot Thane, and the Runesmith. All of this is good. Longbeards are good. Rangers are good. Honestly, do we just drop a couple of models out here, drop a single copter, and then drop down to like 14 or something? That feels rough. We're under points by doing that as well. I just feel like there's too much stuff in here. Maybe we drop the growth throne, we just go double cannon. I'm not sure what it is. There's something about this list. It's just too heavy on units, and for some reason, that's making it very hard to fit everything in. But I think this is a better tweaked version of your list. I'm not 100% sure why it feels like it's so hard to fit everything that I want into this list, though, Larry. But I hope that's helpful. Hopefully, like listening to the rationale of going through it is helpful as well. And then finally, we've got a Fairies Warriors of Chaos list, which was there was some text here with it. Trying to take all the tree folk from Wood Elves and use them as proxy models for Warriors of Chaos. Galrook is mandatory, as is a core focus on Forsaken, but trying to see what other options I have to make things better. That's fun. I like this. So the Giant, I'm assuming, is a tree man. So sure. Then we've got Spawn, which are the tree kin. Then we've got Forsaken, which I'm assuming are dryads. And then we've got wizards. There's not really much to swap here. Um, so, so Galrock is just locked in as standard. We can't do anything about that. Then we've got double sorcerer. Both of them are Slanesh, which I don't know if Slanesh necessarily super like fits with the theme. Favor of the gods sort of might. I don't know what they're doing, frankly, because they can't join the Forsaken because the Forsaken are loner. So I don't know what the purpose of these two models are, and we'll just take them out because I don't see a way to use them realistically. Yeah, I don't really know what you do with the last of the points. Like, I'd be tempted to put in, I don't know, a Lord on Dragon or something, like, or an Exalted Champion on Dragon. If you're using the Age of Sigmar Sylvaneth stuff, if that was what you said, let me just reread it. Um, all the tree folk from Wood Elves and use them as proxy models for Warriors of Chaos. Like if we're talking the Sylvaneth models, I would say just put in an Exalted Champion. Just the standard Great Weapon, Chaos Dragon, double Favor of the Gods, Brazen Collar, and the Talisman of the Carrion Crow. Like this is what I'd put in, and then I'd find a way to shave points. So probably, I mean, it's so expensive. I think we probably drop the Scaly Skin because a 5-up save isn't going to matter much. And then the Forsaken, we go, God, we have to shave so many points. I don't know how we shave these points. I guess we go down to 3 in both of these. And then we just drop some points like this. Then we're still 5 points over. So this Exalted Champion will just downgrade the Carrion Crow to Crown of Everlasting Conquest. Like this is theoretically it, but yeah, I don't know 100%. So let me just ping you at the time. So I think that's more important than the actual list. Um, yeah, I think basically I wouldn't be 2 hours 50 minutes ish. I wouldn't be playing with the level 2 wizards. I think that's the main thing that I would be avoiding because they can't join the Forsaken, so they don't really have a role or a spot to fill. If you can find a conversion for the Exalted Champion Dragon, I think that's the easiest way to make the list better. But yeah, that's kind of all I've got for this one. It's a very limited set of things you could do. I'd maybe even be tempted instead of Chaos Spawn to go Dragon Ogres for the Tree Men. If you can justify that, that feels better. And also, they're tankier, so maybe that feels good. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I love the idea for the list. I just don't know 100% how you do it. But yeah, that is the last list for the evening, and I need to go and finish painting because I've got a little bit left to do. So thank you all for showing up. Appreciate you all. Hope you have a good evening, a good weekend, all of that good stuff. I'm at an event this weekend. I'm at an event next weekend. I get to